Yeah, if you could, there we go.
So you're going to get a notification asking you to take steps.
All righty. Well, this is everybody that I know of. There may be some folks that decide to jump on later, but this is all RSVPs that we had. So we can go ahead and get started.
Sure. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. So this could probably be a pretty quick call. Yeah, I'll run through the platform, show you everything that you'll have access to, and then we'll walk through the prospecting tool as well. It seems to be the most important function for you guys. And for those of you that aren't familiar with CreditSafe at all, CreditSafe, we're actually the world's most used supplier of business-to-business credit reporting. So our biggest competition, of course, is Dun & Bradstreet, Experian. But yeah, being the most used supplier, and we're the world's largest aggregator of data. We tend to be much more cost effective. We've been around since the late 90s. Now we're number one in Europe. We're number one throughout Asia, big in Latin America. I've been in the States now since 2012. So we're starting to get that household name status, like you get with like a D&B or Experian, just because they've been, the big boys in the U.S. market for the longest time, but the market is really changing. Really what's different about us, I know international is somewhat a focus for you, so you guys will have some access to international reporting as well. Is that we've got various different trading partners throughout the globe. One of our biggest partners is Equifax, for example, where essentially we do a data swap with Equifax. So when you're looking at CreditSafe data, you're seeing everything that we have to say on a given company, but you're also looking to see what Equifax has to say about them. And really, when it comes to private companies data, just some basics is that the main driver is going to be the trade line reporting for predictiveness of how well a company is going to perform. So whether we're targeting distressed companies that might need capital infusion, or if you're targeting a company that might be doing okay, but they're in a growth mode and they need a line of capital, whatever the case is, that payment data of how well they're paying all their various different vendors is going to be largely what's going to predict that credit score and the credit line that we'll assign to a given company. We work with a lot of banking institutions, a lot of factors. So if you're familiar with like the factoring industry, where they go in and they'll factor receivables and essentially give a company a loan to pay like their day-to-day, and that's all based on their own receivables. So some of the bigger ones like Bibby Bank or Sallyport Financial, Ironwood Financial, these are large factors that are all customers of mine. But also companies like Wells Fargo, MasterCard, so a lot of companies on the institutional side that rely heavily on CreditSafe as well. Even some of the bigger data providers that are out there get a lot of their data from us, like Moody's Analytics, S&P, all buy massive amounts of CreditSafe data. PayPal is a big customer of ours. So actually, when you look at the landscape in whole, we did a study, and about 90% of all credit decisions in the world today are being made with CreditSafe data. Okay, so again, just kind of give you a bit of context to who we are, what we bring to the market. I also work with a lot of like larger hedge funds and institutions as well. So companies like Cohen Group, which is like a $6 billion private equity group, is a large customer of mine. They buy massive amounts of data. They take that data, aggregate that data, put it into their own scoring, their own quantitative models to be able to essentially do what you guys are trying to achieve, but on a much larger scale, because they're buying our entire database and searching for distressed opportunities across the globe. Alrighty. So again, just give you a bit of background, bit of context. I'll go ahead and share my screen here, and talk a little bit about what goes into our platform. What drives a credit report. And are you guys looking at my demo screen right now?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, perfect. So I just want to be sure I'm on the right screen here. Okay, so everyone will have their own unique login. Okay, so when you log in, this is what you'll see. And as you're searching companies, you'll start populating your activity results. Nice to know. You can see what the company was when you last viewed it, what the current score is. So if there's any kind of changes, you'll see an up or down arrow, green or red arrow for you. Also, you'll see any type of monitored events. So you'll also have access to our monitoring tool, which is nice for your purposes as well. So if you're looking at a company, you're talking to a company, maybe they've got a moderate credit risk, but you've already had a conversation with that owner, and you know that there's some smoke, and then all of a sudden you get an alert signaling that his credit score has dropped 20%. Okay, whatever the case might be. That gives you an opportunity to be able to call them and say, hey, how you been, blah, 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 blah. Well, it's not good. And, in fact, I think we do need that capital infusion, whatever the case is, so, just some of the tools that you'll have at your disposal. I'll just click in that real quick just to show you what it is. A unique thing about CreditSafe as well, the reason why we're the fastest growing company in data, we've really pioneered, an unlimited subscription. So you will have unlimited access to be able to pull US reports. As far as the prospecting tool, I'm providing a bundle of 10,000 prospecting leads, and you guys could of course divvy those up however you see fit. Okay. But as you're searching reports, as you're looking at reports, the default is set to auto monitor everything. Okay. And you can see, who are your low risk customers, who are your high risk customers, who's trending into the moderate risk, who's getting into the very high risk, any type of bankruptcy events. And you could always come to this dashboard and see any of your recent monitoring alerts as well. Do a bit of analysis on your portfolio. You'll have exports as well. So if you want to export that list as well, you can export that to a CSV. And then when it comes to the notifications and the rules, you can calibrate these however you like. It's very customizable. It's very user-friendly. Pretty much everything, again, is set to autopilot. When we first came in the U.S. market, in fact, one of the biggest things that we kept seeing when we were doing surveys of, typically, high-profile type credit managers and credit directors, VPs of credit, large Fortune 500 type companies. They wanted a more simplified platform. They wanted a more simplified credit report as well, because D&B experience just extremely cumbersome. I mean, you really got to be like a credit professional that's been in the industry for years before you really start understanding everything. So we've really simplified things. So, you can calibrate all this however you like. If you want to see a 20% drop, if you want to see a 30% drop, whatever the case is, if you want to see a 30% increase, whatever you want, you can calibrate those changes, click to save the changes, and then you're going to get those alerts, and you'll get an email in your inbox letting you know. Certainly bankruptcy, things like that, new derogatory legals. So we're getting a lot of data from the various different governing bodies and courts, facilities, and things like that update any type of new UCC counts and any type of suits, liens, and judgments. And if you ever need help with anything, we've got fantastic training tools as well. I'm here for you guys as well. So certainly, once we get onboarded, we can do an in-depth dive of everything I'm going to show you today. But, even if you need a quick, hey, how do I create a new portfolio? How do I edit, customize, things like that? Very simple just to use that little function there as well. So when we're looking at a credit report, we make it very easy for you to find a credit report. You start typing a company name. It's going to populate for you. It's going to show you the most recent or the most relevant search results. So if I'm looking for Walmart, hit Walmart. It's going to show me all the results in the U.S. So we'll always have the most search result here at the top. And then you've got all their various, that would be the headquarters down in Bentonville, Arkansas. Then you'll have all the various different Walmart branches across the country, even across the globe as well. So if you want to go to different country, these are going to be all the live active reports. You got a minimum amount of the international, so use them sparingly, but you could always order more. And we tend to be very cost effective. We're typically providing an international report, instant online report for our customers at $15, $20 a piece, depending on how many you need to order. where, you know, DNB Experian, they might be at $100, okay, or more. I've seen an international report from DNB as high as like $300, $400, okay. When it comes to searching as well, you could type in physical addresses, you can type in phone numbers, you can search by their website, you can search by their tax ID, you can search by the person's name. If you want to try to find the person by their name, you can search by their name. When we're looking at a credit report, I'll just go into, you know, this EDS manufacturing. Just kind of give you the high level overview of what goes into a credit report. Okay. Again, we make things very simple, very easy for you to consume. Most of our customers are making all their credit decisions on what's on the summary page, and then you've got all their various different tabs of the credit report to take a deeper dive. We're big on our dashboards, okay? So again, making it very simple for you to make your credit decisions or make your loan decisions and what have you. But starting at the top, you've got our credit safe score, which is a simplified score. It's a 1 to 100, 1 meaning bad, 100 meaning good. So this EDS manufacturer coming in at a 74, which is you know, a fine credit score, very low risk credit score. When it comes to what rolls up into that score, yeah, again, opposed to if you've ever looked at credit reports from like a DNB or an Experian, you know, they've got like, you know, DNB like dozens of scores. Okay, we provide you with one simple score that has all their demographic information, all their firmographic information, so years in business, annual sales, number of employees, payment data. I talked about that a little bit. That's going to be weighing heavily on private companies. If you're ever looking at a public company, their financials, because we'll have 3 years of audited financials on a public company. Private companies, you'll never get financials on a private company. No one can. You know, you've got to get that, you know, directly from the customer. Outside of the U.S., where the reporting laws are different, like the U.K. or Germany or what have you, where it's a mandatory report, we'll have 3 years of audited financials on companies that have a mandatory report. But in the U.S., it's going to be public companies only. Okay. We provide you with a international score just for a bit of international standardization. All our reports are standardized across the globe as well. So anytime you're looking at a report, whether it's in the U.S. or whether it's in Cambodia, you know, everything's formatted the same way so that everything makes sense. You know, opposed to our competition, they've got, you know, different reports in different countries and different regions and what have you. It's almost like you got to stop what you're doing and figure out what it all means over and again. This DBT score is again an important score because that's what's going to calculate how well they're paying their invoices. Okay, so so essentially when it comes to payment data, and we've got the most payment data out of any provider in the US, these are our customers that are reporting this data to us. So our customers, we do a good job of incentivizing our customers that keep a monthly aging file on their customers, so how well they're collecting their receivables. And that tallies up a DBT score. So this will count up from 0, so 1, so 0 being the best score you can get, and the higher that goes, the worse it gets. Okay, so, you know, and the higher this goes, starts trending into the 10s, the 20s, the 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever. That means that they're paying their net 30-day terms or their net 60-day terms late, and they can't keep up their payments. So that's going to impact this overall risk score. It's going to impact what the overall credit rating is as well. And the customers of ours that are sending this stuff to us, we just do a fantastic job of just incentivizing them because, you know, no one's mandatory to report on their trade. You know, it's essentially the helping out the greater good of the community, and then also they get access to tools. If they report to us, you know, sometimes we give them a price break if they're reporting to us or what have you. But again, we collect this data, we aggregate this data, and then put it all into the credit reports. Okay, so these are, you know, we'll take data from anybody, small mom and pops all the way up to your Fortune 500 companies like a Nestle that reports trade data to us, or a big customer of mine is Airgas, the largest industrial gas manufacturer in the world. And then they send me a file of 1.5 million customers and how well those 1.5 million customers pay Airgas. We provide you a recommended credit limit. So, you know, that recommended credit limit is definitely more geared towards, you know, like your everyday credit manager. So if you're a credit manager in a, you know, construction supply distributor, what have you, you know, how much credit will I assign to this, this general contractor that needs to get a job out, so that's going to be geared more towards that. We do have data that's coming from banking institutions and credit card companies as well. I'll show you that. So that's going to be something that you'll have access to as well. So anytime you see us write credit card, that means that there is financial payment data on file. So this one, happens to have that financial data on file. And we do have that on about 90% of all US reports. Okay, so that's going to be very much the norm that you'll have that. We show you the number of derogatory legals they have. So again, UCCs, tax filings, tax liens, things like that, judgments. So these guys have 0, so that's going to be positive for them. But if you see like 5 derogatory legals, we'll show you what the value of that is. And let's say they've got like 5, 10, 20 derogatory legals or something like that. Again, that's going to be negative because someone might have a tax lien on them, and that's going to negatively impact that overall score and the overall recommended credit limit, because that's something that is a red flag. We give you a possible OFAC, which no one else does that. So just a nice to have. I don't know how relevant it's going to be for you, but if anyone's on the Patriot Act list, you're probably going to want to stop in your tracks and lose your phone number. Okay, but definitely just a best practice, and I'm not sure what your protocol is in terms of the data that you need to collect if you have to do any type of sanction screening. But we got you covered there. Just having that OFAC screening. Okay. So also on the summary page, you're gonna have high level data of their contact information, their contact details, things like that. Any other known corporate addresses, you can click that button and see that. Give you trend lines of their scoring history. If they're part of a group, we'll give you their group information. So if they've got various different affiliates and stuff like that roll up to a parent, we expose all that. So we give you snapshots of their trade information, then the full trade information on the payment dashboard. So again, that DVT score of 7 is going to be driven by the 34 lines of trade that you see here. So these are our customers that are reporting this to us. So 34 different customers are reporting these total balances of $232,000. I'll tell you when it's last updated, what the recent high credit is, so what any type of high balances that they have, the average amount, and then we show you all their past due information as well. Okay. Show you the number of inquiries. Definitely nice to have. If you're seeing a lot of people that are inquiring about a given company, could tell you that they're looking for funding. Okay, whether it's new suppliers, whether it's other banks or credit card companies that use credit safe. If you ever need any contact source scores, you can go to the score limit tab, just show you what the context is and how we arrived at this 74 and this A rating. Give you a bit of commentary as well. Talked about payment data already. Legal filings, again, these guys have no active legal filings, but you can see, this most recent UCC in 2019. So if they do have legal filings, you'll see that. You'll see anything as far as like jurisdictions, amendment number, statuses, things like that, what the amount of that legal filing is. Underneath their company details, a few different tools at your disposal. We've got our media solutions, which, if you want to search a company, if they've got any type of media alerts, you never know. If you're dealing with mainly small companies, you might see something in the local news or Gazette. Doesn't look like these guys are very active in the media. If they've got a PPP loan, so these guys do, we show you that, show you who underwrote that loan. So Washington Federal Bank, loan amount of $675. They pledged to retain 40 jobs. Good information to have. Give you their background as far as officers are concerned. So whether it's directors, treasurers, CEOs, presidents, owner-operators. You can take a deeper dive into this president and see if he owns any other operations or businesses. These are possible matches, so you kind of want to take it with a grain of salt. It might be his company, might not be, but if you're seeing a company operating out of the same address, maybe using the same phone number, similar company name, maybe you're seeing some red warning signs on these dashboard scores, might behoove you to click into that report and then find out what's going on there. So, I imagine that this EDS Holdings is probably his as well. So, again, just giving you a little bit more insight to who this Lewis Monroe is, and who I'm dealing with. Again, especially if you're seeing like, hey, see, you've got 5 different other LLCs. They all seem to be, not doing well. What's the story here? If you ever needed to pull a business principal report, we do have like FICO scores and consumer data. It's not part of your guys' package, but I could always add that. And pretty cost effective, $5 a piece. We sell them in bundles of $250. So if we need to, get some consumer data. In terms of your own protocol, you're probably going to want a personal guarantee. You're going to want to let them know that, hey, I'm pulling your consumer data, because it's a soft pull, okay, but you're still looking into their sensitive data. You're going to need permission to do that, okay. Anytime you're looking at a run-of-the-mill credit report, no permissions, not a soft pull, it's not, it's nothing. It's like, this is private company data that we aggregate. We own the data. It's open to the public essentially. This possible links tab, another one where you can kind of fish out any bad actors, trying to get a little more insight to who am I dealing with here. So any companies that are operating out of the same address, using the same telephone numbers, websites, bankruptcy information, things like that, you can see like, hey, this EDS Manufacturing Incorporated is another one that they might own. And then, again, just another thing that gives you some tools and tool belt to really understand who you're dealing with. Your group structure, again, if they're part of a group, they've got multiple companies that fall underneath the corporate umbrella. We're gonna show that to you. We also show you any type of companies that are operating outside of the U.S. as well. No one else does that. And we provide you with these dashboard scores, so you can see that they've got a subgroup in Mexico. Looks like everything's on the up and up. But if you're dealing with a company that they've got various different subgroups in Latin America or Europe, or whatever the case is, and you're seeing warning signs on these dashboard scores, you might want to inquire about that. You might need to pull that report as well to find out, who am I dealing with? What is the situation? You could download credit reports. You can email the credit reports. So you save any credit report that you like. So by simply clicking this more actions button. Again, everything's set to monitor automatically, okay? But if you want to take them off monitoring, you can do that. But everything's on automatic monitoring every time you view a credit report. So again, just kind of gives you that autopilot functionality. I spoke a little bit about the financial trade data that we're getting from the banking institutions. You'll have 500 of these reports, so you want to use these sparingly. So just keep that in mind. And however you guys want to divvy it up, you can, up to you. But essentially, we've got a network of over 400 different banking institutions and credit card companies, and the top 10 in both categories are reporting this data to us real time. This is just an example because, it's more sensitive data. There is a DocuSign that you'll have to sign. So one of you guys will have to, imagine Andrew, you'd have to just sit in on just a walkthrough of the DocuSign, and they'll talk about things like security protocol, things like that. So you can get access to this. But we show you how many commercial credit cards they have, what those single highest credit exposures are, any type of single highest past due information, what those total balances are. Same thing on business leases, same thing in open-ended lines of credit, other could be letters of credit. So anything on the institutional side, any type of revolving credit, anything that's come from the banks and the credit card companies. And then you're able to see what their full credit utilization is. So how much have they used? How much do they still have available? What their total credit limit is? Almost like when looking at your own personal credit score. That hey, I've got 5 credit cards accounts. I got my mortgage. I got my car lease. I've got a couple $100,000 worth of credit that's out there, but my score is 750, and if I wanted to have $1 million credit limit, I can have that. Give you a bit of breakdown on the account balances, what the account types are as well. We'll summarize all the information for you as well. If they do have any type of delinquencies, we'll show you that. Again, this is just an example, but this is something that could dramatically swing the overall credit result and the overall recommended credit limit. So when you are in this report, you can toggle between what the standard credit limit is and then what the recommended credit limit is, okay? So same thing with what the enhanced score is and what the regular score is. So when you are looking at, especially small, medium-sized companies, you know, a lot of times on these smaller companies, not a lot of data out there. Okay, if they've got like 5 or 10 lines of trade, you know, typically that's enough for a credit manager to make a credit decision. But if you're underwriting a loan, you know, might get a little bit, you know, iffy, you're throwing darts on the dartboard in the dark. But if you're able to see, hey, they've got 3 commercial credit cards, they've got a couple of business loans, paying them all on time, you know, this looks like a good risk for me. So again, just another tool in your tool belt to make better decisions.
Hey, Nick, quick question. Can you click again on that enhanced credit limit, the toggle switch?
Sure.
Not, okay.
And this is just an example. You know, I wish they would do it better. This is not live data. I wish they, because if I'm looking at this example, I would think it would be all positives, and then you'd see their risk score maybe jump up. Same thing on the recommended credit limit. When you're looking at live data, when you're looking at live data, it works. I've actually put in a ticket to say, why don't you guys make this work? But it's just an example. Because I personally, I don't get access to this, but you know, I've been on my customers' accounts and walking through their account with them, and I've seen, like, you know, a good credit report where someone, you know, might have a recommended credit limit of a couple $100,000, and then we click into this report, and then you see that enhanced score. You know, like I've seen examples where, like, they've had like $20,000 worth of loans and credit card, $20 million worth of loans and credit cards out there, paying everything on time. And then all of a sudden their credit score and recommended credit limit goes from like a 70 to a 90. And then the recommended credit limit goes from $200,000 up to $7 million. So just an example, just showing you what's in it. Alrighty. Any questions on this, or any questions just on what goes into a credit report? All right. Good.
No, I did earlier. I typed in the chat. Is it possible to sort by the age of the entity? Because I saw it's
in the prospecting tool you can.
Okay.
When you go to the advanced search, we don't segment out, you know, years in business.
Okay.
When you're in the credit reports, and when you're in the prospecting tool, you can download a list, and then part of that list will be the safe number. And if you want to copy and paste that safe number into the search bar, it'll go directly to that report. But underneath the company details, you'll see number of employees, years in business, revenue.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, but unfortunately, not something that we have searched by. Just not something that our main customer base is going to be, again, like credit managers of like corporations. So like, you know, if you're, you know, a credit manager at Nestle Corporation, you're searching a company, you want to look at their payment data, you want to predict how well they're going to pay you based on a net 30-day terms. So that's how we're set up. Duns & Bradstreet is going to be the same thing. Experian is going to be the same thing. But if you're in the prospecting tool, you can go to this prospecting tool again. We'll do a deeper dive. But you know, if you're, let's say you want to search the U.S., I'll keep it high level. But let's say we're searching the Midwest. You're clicking some criteria here. You want to go to a company profile. You can see years in business. You know, if you want to drill down like their DVT score, number of employees, things like that, you can do all that. You know, company financials. If we want to business single, sorry. If we want to select like the credit worthiness, if we want to go, you know, we want to look at distressed companies, not rated companies because they might be in a bankruptcy already. Select all that. And then profile, you know, if we want to, you know, go by SIC code, like if you start typing a company name, let's say like start typing like a company or printer. So let's say we're looking for, you know, printers or whatever, get cases, printing, supporting, commercial printing. And actually, someone wanted me to run a count for that, but whatever it is, so within the Midwest, there's 700 companies that are distressed that are underneath these NAICS codes. So it's pretty simple to use. And then, once you've found the list, and I don't know how many counts I've gotten here, but then you update the count, order your search, and then you can also select any type of previous. Exclude over the last 3 months. You could name the list. So hit next. Oh. And then you'll get an email with the spreadsheet inside your inbox with all those records that you just ordered. So pretty simple to use, and yeah, we can certainly do a deeper dive as far as what goes into what goes into the prospecting tool for you as well. And then once you guys kind of go through any of your prospect lists that you want, you're still going to have full access to the platform. So, if you continue want to search on one-offs, you'll have the ability to do that. All right. Any questions on anything I've covered so far?
No, I think that was pretty. I just have one other question. You mentioned a UCC filing shortly after you said something about legal filings or derogatory. I didn't know a UCC filing was considered negative unless I misunderstood you.
Yeah, we look at it as negative. So, I mean, you could look at like Walmart's report. They've got a bunch. They've got 29 equating $1.2 million. So yeah, we view it as negative. So it would be something that would negatively impact a credit report. So yeah.
Okay, so even if a business loan, sometimes for security, they'll make a UCC filing against the business, and that's one of the things that we've been.
Yeah, I know it's a UCC is not going to be, it's not going to be as derogatory as a lien or a suit or a judgment that's against a company, tax liens or what have you. So as far as the algorithm is concerned, a UCC is not going to weigh as heavily as like a tax lien. But it is something where, that's more credit that's out there. That's someone that's pledged money that's owed or what have you. So we do look at it as, that's something that could negatively affect the business, especially if they're not keeping up, with what their, what their payments are or whatever it is.
Okay, Nick. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Kendra.
Sure.
You mentioned that there were, I think we were talking about 10,000 leads.
Yeah.
Split up between us. Is that through the prospecting tool? So we would be able to pull 10,000 prospects, or is it something different? Okay.
So, and do you guys feel like that would be enough for you?
I mean, if
we're all new, so we don't really know.
Right.
Be honest. So I mean, how many is Lou still here? Yeah, Lou's here. So that's
Yeah, I'm still here.
4 of us. So I mean, that would be 2,500 a month. So it's 10,000 a month or a year?
A year.
Probably not. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking it would be a good idea for us to put together some sort of dialogue in regards to what we're targeting and how we're doing it, and maybe mastermind on that, and then come back and circle back up with you, Nick. What do you think? What do you guys think? Andrew, Kendra?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
Yeah, certainly. I like to have some more dialogue about it. I think the standard package, at least from the proposal that I'm looking at, which would be the last one I shared in our Slack accountability group, the initial proposal only offers 1,000 prospects. So, you know, I think 1,000 would certainly still be less than 25.
Yeah, it's actually 11,000 because the standard pack we always provide 1,000 prospects, so it's 11,000 total. And if you guys could stretch a little bit, because the prospects for us, it's something where we have all the data. It's not something that's a very costly element for Credit Safe in terms of our profitability, but if you can do 1,300, I could double that 10,000, make it 20,000. That helps. And that's as far as our margins are concerned. It'll be
Okay.
on it then, as long as we can make a decision by the end of the month. If that sounds good to you guys, then I could update the proposal.
Nick, could everybody drop their emails in the chat so that way Nick has them, and you guys can communicate directly with him. And Nick, if you want to
Sure.
update a group proposal or anything of that sort,
Sure.
You'll have everybody's contact information and can just kind of send it out to the entire.
Yeah, not a problem.
Hey, Nick, as far as like prospecting, do you have customers that would actually go on to like Reference USA and pull a list and then come here and then look at the credit?
Yeah, I would think so. That would make sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
And and obviously if you could, also, do an append with the data that we have. And we're, of course, we're giving you a lot of insight to who you're dealing with. So I mean, that makes sense for me, because we don't have, when you go into the credit report, you'll see the contact details and stuff like that, but we don't have like email addresses and such. So, I imagine that customers probably, it would make sense to me that they would do that.
You guys offer like API options where through like Zapier or something like that, where you could talk to other databases such as, what is it, Info USA or what have you? Or is that just something that we'd have to go in and do manually?
I would have to check into that. We do have a fantastic API that is an open API. We use a REST API, which is going to be one of the more advanced APIs that you can use, that allows you to extract a lot of data. And we can integrate with pretty much any system that's out there. If anyone is already doing it and the API is already available, then it's going to be pretty cost effective for me to just turn it on. But if it's something that we'd have to do work on, then you could be looking at a much increased cost. But if you want me to be able to turn on the API and then you guys are doing all the work, then it's a cost effective as $500 to your subscription just to turn the API on.
Okay.
Sure.
Makes sense. Thanks.
So my question is kind of two-part. So if we get access to, let's just say 10,000 marketing records. So marketing records and prospecting records, that's interchangeable. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we get access to 10,000 marketing records and 500 financial payment data records.
Right.
So the point in which we would go after financial data for one of our leads would be the point in which that lead is like what we've had a conversation with them and it's a strong lead. That way we're not just kind of running through those willfully, you know what I mean? Just kind of carelessly.
Yeah.
Is that what would make the most sense as opposed to trying to get the financial data on every single lead before?
Yeah, I would recommend that.
Okay.
And the financial payment data, just a caveat on that. So we can provide that to customers unlimited if they're sharing data with us. So I imagine that you guys don't have like an aging profile because you're not accepting customers. So yeah, I've run into a situation before where people wanted to buy more of those. Unfortunately, the answer would be no because the customer didn't have an aging or like CFO said hard no to sharing data. So I would, as far as those 500, I would use them sparingly, and then only click onto that red credit card when you're ready to, because you want more insight to someone that you're dealing with that's a strong prospect. Okay, well, I definitely think there's a possibility to share some data with you guys. Yeah, as long as you have something to share, right? Yeah, I don't know that it would be at a high level, but once we would individually acquire a business, I'm assuming that's the data that you're interested in, right? Yeah, and if you acquired it, if you acquired a data and then they're maintaining an aging, again, a customer list of how well their customers are paying them, then absolutely we'll take it. So okay. I mean, it's a pretty small threshold in terms of the data team and who they approve and who they don't. So yeah, we're out there trying to acquire data from anybody. So D&B, for example, if someone has a customer list of 500 customers, they won't even look at you. But if one of our customers only have 500 active customers, they want to share data with us, fantastic, we'll take it. Understood.
So is the system, I'm trying to think about how we would track the usage of each of our individual leads. So if we say we have 10,000, we have 2,500 apiece, can your system track that for us, or is that on us to keep track of ourselves?
Yeah, so you can track it underneath your
the individual login.
Yeah, you can see underneath the individual login, then whoever has the admin access would be able to see it. But underneath your account settings, you can see underneath products and services.
Or allocate. Allocate it per login or account or sub account.
Yeah, I don't know if I can put those type of restrictions on it, but so I don't know if might need to do some type of honor system.
Yeah,
but you can see how many U.S. prospects you use. How many. Again, your reports. Essentially, it's unlimited. It is capped off at an arbitrary number of 49,999, which is our freedom access. So you can look at as many credit reports as you like, but in terms of the prospecting list, you've got to divvy that up, however you want. I could see if I can segment them per account that each of you get, whatever. Whatever it is.
Some of this, I think we need to collaborate and then come back to you on and go from there. Yeah.
Hey, Nick, along that lines, let's just say that we do split 2,500 each. Yeah. Let's say, for example, I use my 2,500. Could I individually purchase more?
Yeah.
Or does it have to be like a group purchase?
No. Yeah. You could definitely, if you want to add more to that anytime, you can.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, for an extra $300, you throw in. You say 10,000. Would you be willing to do 30,000 for an additional 20,000 on top of that 10,000 for $300?
Let me look at what calculate where our margins are. But yeah, if you want to get it up to like 30,000, then let me see what the price point would be. I'm guessing maybe 1,600, 1,700 total.
Yikes.
So
Okay.
Let me calculate. And then also, yeah, if we can move before the end of the year, that's going to be something that, my manager's going to be like, okay, fine, as long as they sign for December this year.
All right.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Yeah, sure. And then, yeah, I'll shoot everybody an email and just let you know what the cost will be and the options. Let me know what option you want to go with. And then if I need to update the current proposal, I'll get it right out. And then as soon as I get a signature on that, then we're good to go. I'll take care of the rest.
Okay. And just to make sure we all understand, the standard information from the standard package here in the line item, that's information that we would get access to right away. But
Yep.
the financial payment data is information that we wouldn't get access to until, would you say, for about 7 days? Was it 5 to 7 days?
Yeah. So you'll get an email from our admin to set up an appointment to walk through a DocuSign. And then she'll walk you through it. We used to just send out the DocuSign and let the customer fill it out, but too many people were filling it out wrong, and there was too much back and forth. So now we just hold your hand through the DocuSign. It takes like 20 minutes to walk you through it, and then there's an approval process because a lot of that data we're also getting from Equifax. So there's an approval process between CreditSafe and Equifax that takes anywhere from 5 to 10 days.
Okay, 5 to 10 days.
Yeah, so it behooves you to do the walkthrough as soon as possible. That way they can put it in for approval, and then they're going to ask you simple questions like, hey, do you maintain passwords on your computers and stuff like that, like compliance type stuff. So just I don't think I've ever had a customer that's been denied, but so they just want to make sure you're a real business, you're maintaining minimum type standards and that. So
Understood.
sure.
So then in terms of like figuring, this probably isn't a question for Nick, but it's for the other guys. In terms of paying and kind of divvying this out, would it be helpful if like one of us paid the total to CreditSafe and then kind of invoice the others so that we could reimburse that person, or what's the most efficient way?
That's sort of what I was thinking.
Okay.
And we'll
Yeah,
get you that
I'm open to whatever.
too, so you guys can figure that out. So
Okay.
I'm happy to send invoices out. That's fine.
Yeah, you were the person I had in mind, Kendra.
Okay.
Volunteered.
Nick, I'm the CPA and the accountant in the group. So
Yep. That's fun.
like my wife, she's the CPA of the house.
yep.
We have a real controller.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, that does it for me. I'm good. I guess we can, perhaps set up a call between us to figure out, best practices and how to get this thing done. And we kind of touched on this a little bit during our accountability call to figure out if it's, feasible to have someone that can do some of this work, for us and then feed information. But we can figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, fantastic. Well, Nick, I definitely appreciate your time. If you could go ahead and shoot this recording over to me some point today, that way I can share with the rest of the group. There may be other parties interested, and for us, Kendra, Lou, and Richard, we can all circle back, or when Nick leaves the call, we can talk a little bit more if you guys have the time right now. Just kind of let me know what you guys want to do.
Okay. Yeah, I'm open to whatever.
Yeah, I can stay on for a little bit too. I have another meeting at 12:30, but I'm free until then.
Okay, fantastic.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. And then, we'll look forward to hearing from you and look forward to working with you. All righty.
Awesome.
All right,
Thanks,
thanks, Nick.
Everybody.
Hey, Nick, if you could transfer me to the host, I think that'll keep us online.
I don't know if I can. Let's wait. I'll lose the recording.
If we need to start a new Zoom meeting, we can do that. I can send something
I think
out.
we might have.
Okay, that might be a little
I
easier.
might lose the recording. All righty. Well, thank you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.